It's been another Friday of mass protest in Syria. Hundreds of thousands took to streets across the country in anti-government rallies in defiance of the security forces. There are reports of gunfire and tear gas being used against several demonstrations. Activists say at least 8 people have been killed. Well, joining me now is Nabila Ramdani, a journalist and specialist on Middle East affairs. Nabila, we've talked about this before. Was the protest on Friday any different from the previous protests?
I think so. I think one shouldn't underestimate the significance of Friday demonstrations, very much labeled as prayer day protests now, precisely because the organisers of the protests call for mass demonstrations on Friday, which is, of course, the day of prayer. And it allows to bring people together, of course, and to organize weekly a demonstration to show defiance towards intensified military crackdown on their uprising. And on Friday, more than 1.2 million people actually marched across the country in key cities like Hama, but also Latakia on the coast, Deraa, but also the Kurdish towns in the northern eastern province, and indeed in the southern town of Sueda. So we're witnessing full-scale demonstrations across the country, and it seems that the scale and of the protest and the determination of the protesters to pursue their uprising is met with an equal determination of the Syrian regime to pursue its own relentless crackdown on demonstrators.
Indeed, and once again we witnessed demonstrations in the city of Homs, which we know from previous demonstrations has been very much a hotbed of resistance against the regime.
Absolutely. It has to be noted, however, that the government seems to have been carrying out a relative crackdown precisely because less people seem to have been killed on this instance. 8 people, we are being told by human rights organizations, as opposed to 24 people last Friday. So, of course, it's very hard to verify those figures precisely because Syria is a very closed country, and also because of the lack of foreign journalists in Syria, and the fact that the handful of foreign reporters allowed in the country see their work very carefully monitored as well.
How long will these demonstrations go on for every Friday, Nabila?
I think there's a determination by the people to try to make a difference. They've witnessed changes regionally. They are particularly impressed by the Tunisian people and the Egyptian people who have been able to get rid of nasty dictators who have been ruling their countries for decades.
So indefinitely?
And they very much hope that they will be able to do the same at home.
Indefinitely?
It's very hard to assess the determination of protesters because the regime is using all sorts of tactics to repress those demonstrators, including thousands of security officers patrolling the streets and conducting searches of homes and making arrests randomly. The security forces are very much making a show of strength as well in markets, but also in mosques, conducting identity checks of people, including on women at roadblocks, and also security forces have been terrifying residents, showing ostentatiously their weapons to intimidate the very demonstrators who take to the streets on a weekly basis now.
Nabila, thanks very much, Nabila Ramdani.